Welcome aboard. Stay tuned and subscribe to Han Li's Wuxia Adventures for more thrilling content. Chapter 1164. Soon after, Xie Shaoxian left, but Xu Jing still followed her. Xie Shaoxian wondered if this guy had fallen for her, but she was also a little flustered. Although she wore very little, that was only for the sake of displaying her battle techniques. In reality, she was very conservative, and it wasn't good for a man to follow her around like this. Seeing Xu Jing follow Xie Shaoxian, Hui Santong subconsciously looked at Terawei. Terawei looked back at him. Hui Santong sighed inwardly. There was no need to guess, that gaze was definitely following him. Xia Jiuyo, Sujio and Yuqin left as well. Everyone's goal was the blood pool, but they all left as well. Even Hui Santong couldn't bring himself to join forces. After all, the blood pool was huge and everyone would have to rely on their own abilities to obtain Progenitor Chen's blood. But was the entire pool filled with Progenitor Chen's blood? Not necessarily, as the blood of a progenitor wasn't that easy to collect. On the other side, Silver and the other two had also crossed the city walls and seen the giant civilization. At the same time they also saw the blood pool. Silver was excited and he licked his lips. Progenitor Chen's blood. Lu Yin's gaze trembled. Progenitor Chen's blood had actually appeared here. If the monkey was here he would definitely be screaming crazily. Could that incomparably huge giant that could crush a planet with one hand be Progenitor Chen's clone? That would be too huge. Silver looked at Lu Yin and grinned. Captain, there's no need for you to disguise yourself here. Lu Yin didn't move, maintaining his ghoulish state. Silver shrugged. You're not really going to stab me in the back, are you? We're not enemies. Lu Yin still didn't move. Silver smiled. Let's go. The blood pool was located at the center of the giant's buildings. Here, everyone was like ants walking through a human society, and everything was magnified many times over. Silver and the other two passed by one stone house after another. Suddenly, the door to a stone house in front of them opened, and a guardian giant walked out and slammed the door shut. Countless rocks fell down, but these rocks were just dust on the door, but to Lu Yin's group they were just rocks. The guardian giant left, and the three continued to pass by the stone houses, heading towards the center. The others were in the same situation, approaching the blood pool from all directions. At this moment, Ku Lei was the unluckiest of all. He had transformed into lightning and was extremely fast, but because he was too fast, he couldn't stop in time and was almost trampled to death by a guardian giant. Even if the guardian giant didn't step on him, the dust that was kicked up from the ground was enough to drown him, making him look quite miserable. With the cover of the smell, the group gradually approached the blood pool. The closer they got, the more they could feel the pressure. This supreme might didn't originate from one's combat prowess, but rather, it originated from one's heart, from one's instincts. This was the pressure of an ancestor. Even though Ancestor Chen has been dead for countless years, his existence was something that couldn't be recorded in history. But this pressure still existed. The blood pool was separated by a giant fence, which was used to keep the guardian giants away. To Lu Yin and the others, it was like a stone pillar that rose into the sky. They easily passed through the stone pillars and saw the gigantic blood pool 1,000 meters away. Everyone had already passed the stone pillars and looked at the blood pool from all directions. Just as Ku Lei was about to rush into the blood pool, the soaring bugle horn sounded. Ku Lei jumped in fright and almost fell down. Everyone else immediately went into hiding as well. As he thought about this, he looked at Hui Santong in the distance. Hui Santong had already used his secret technique, the secret art of wisdom. It could break through all battle techniques and find the enemy's weak points. However, at this moment he could not find the giant emperor's weak points. All of their attacks were like child's play. It was impossible for them to obtain Progenitor Chen's blood. The tearful woman's mask was about to shatter. She was the most injured out of everyone. If she had not used her secret technique to transfer her injuries to the giant emperor, she would have been finished. Is there any way? Ku Lei asked Hui Santong. Hui Santong shook his head. With the giant emperor's strength and defenses, even if we worked together, it would be useless. Ku Lei cursed inwardly. Progenitor Chen's blood was very important to everyone. Now that it was right in front of them, they could not obtain it. Sujio was helpless. They would rather face the guardian giants, who were stronger but had no intelligence, than face an intelligent giant emperor. The giant emperor raised its foot and approached the group. Its large body exerted an intense pressure, and its fists were clenched tightly. Suddenly, the giant emperor attacked in another direction, raising a hand and pressing down. That direction was where Silver, Lu Yin and Ghoul were. If the giant emperor could discover Xia Jiuyo's group, how could it not? Xia Jiuyo and the rest were confused. They had all been exposed, so who was the giant emperor attacking? Kulei thought of Ku Wei. It couldn't be him, right? With that guy's strength, he should not have been able to approach this place. When Silver's group charged out, Xia Jiuyo and the rest were shocked. The Neo-Human Alliance? The giant emperor's attack landed on the ground, causing the ground to crack and the blood pool to boil. Silver's group dodged the attack and looked at Xia Jiuyo's group with a radiant smile. We meet again, everyone. The tearful woman's eyes narrowed, and she attacked Silver without hesitation. Silver helplessly dodged. Everyone, our current enemy is the giant emperor. Shu Jing raised a hand and sliced through the void, but Silver dodged again. To us, you're even more of an enemy than the giant emperor, Shu Jing said coldly. Silver was helpless. That's why you people are so stubborn. Right, I brought you an acquaintance. He pointed into the distance and everyone looked over. Lu Yin dodged the giant emperor's palm, but the giant emperor followed up with another palm strike. Lu Yin's black robes fell off, revealing his true appearance. Kulei and the rest were shocked. Lu Yin. Lu Yin landed in the distance, his eyes filled with death as he stood there in a daze. Ghoul was nearby as well. Hui Santong stared at Lu Yin. What's that? In the distance, Xie Shaoxian also saw it. Death aura? She looked at Silver, her eyes filled with hatred. Silver grinned as he looked at Xia Jiuyo and the others. I'll give you a choice. Either you attack the giant emperor together, or... At this point, his face turned cold and he opened his eyes. I'll have Corpse Ghost destroy you first. Xia Jiuyo and the rest clenched their fists as they recalled the battle on the golden screen in the mountain and sea realm. Back then they had teamed up with levitating Mavis, but Qiu Shi and the rest had still not been able to defeat Ghoul. Wrong. We have a third choice, which is to join forces with the giant emperor and destroy you. Hui Santong barked. The next moment, everyone charged at Ghoul. Their actions attracted the giant emperor's attention, and he stopped staring at Lu Yin. Instead, he raised a hand and swatted at everyone. Silver's eyes were cold as he watched everyone's actions. When the giant emperor's palm landed, everyone scattered and dodged before closing in on Ghoul once more. Was this person lying or was he telling the truth? He had been able to use the huge temptation of progenitor Chen's clone's corpse to force everyone to fight the giant emperor with him, and now he had convinced Hui Santong. This was Hui Santong, a member of the Hui family. He had lured a descendant of the Hui family twice in a row, which meant that he was no ordinary person. Even if he was lying, he had to be right. It was no wonder why he had been able to unify the outerverse. Lu Yin did not say anything. He looked around, especially in the direction of the blood pool. Without the giant emperor, all of the guardian giants were in chaos. These giants looked like humans, but they were many times larger. However, these barbaric giants were more like giant beasts, and Lu Yin could not forget the scene he had seen on the giant planet. These giants would even eat humans. He had not held back when he had killed the giant emperor, but even if he had not, the giant emperor would have killed him. Now that the giant emperor was dead, all of the guardian giants were in chaos. In that case, the city walls were meaningless. Just as he thought about this, a loud sound came from the distance. A corner of the city wall had collapsed, and a giant had smashed through it. Lu Yin did not know whether the giants outside had broken in or the ones inside. Lu Yin did not care. Thank you to the distant building. The final curtain. I can't sleep. This is a reward from the brothers of the Cool Breeze Mountain. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your help. Thank you. Everyone else saw the figure and bowed in unison. Greetings, Elder Chan. Greetings, Elder Chan. Lu Yin bowed as well and he glanced up. The real boss had appeared. Was it Elder Chan? If even Heizij Wudi was so respectful, then this person might be the biggest boss in the entire Hall of Honor. Elder Chan looked down and fixed his gaze on Heizij Wudi. You're becoming more and more impudent. Heizij Wudi respectfully replied, I didn't want to either, but that director went too far and targeted the people of Eversky Island. Elder Chan was amused. Don't spout nonsense. He's not from Eversky Island. Hyzage Wudi replied, Lu Yin is an in-name disciple of Eversky Island. He's willing to take the sage celestial master as his master? Elder Chan asked with a strange expression. Hyzage Wudi looked at Lu Yin. Lu Yin found it strange that the topic had changed to this. If he answered yes, then Eversky Island could openly protect him, and Hyzage Wudi's actions would not be a problem. However, he had a master who had answered Hyzage Shinwei's question. Lu Yin didn't know how to answer. If he didn't answer well, then not only would he be blamed, but even Hyzage Wudi would be blamed. Elder Chan looked at him quietly with a slight smile. Hyzage Wudi kept shooting glances at Lu Yin. The mushroom-headed little Shur looked at Lu Yin curiously. There was admiration, reverence, excitement, and curiosity. Lu Yin thought about it for a moment before helplessly saying, Senior Wudi, I'm sorry. I have a master, so I can't take the sage celestial master as my master. I, Lu Yin, cannot be an ungrateful person. Hyzage Wudi was taken aback, but he nodded, It's fine. Be yourself. Lu Yin was grateful. Thank you, brothers, for your support.